first things I like to do is immerse myself with the sales team. So
Yeah.
I'm going to their meetings regularly. I'm very aligned with my peer and the sales director. There's a certain amount of incremental sales that we're going to go get, and we kind of can divide and conquer and help each other.
Hi, everybody. This is Josh Becerra. Welcome to this next episode of How I Work. I'm super excited to have Wendy Sorquist with me today. Thanks for being here, Wendy.
Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So you're the first interview of 2024. Let me give a little bit of background on you, Wendy. So Wendy's the director of marketing at Blaine Brothers family of companies. She's been there just shy of 5 years. Wendy and her team implement engaging marketing strategies and campaigns across all channels while supporting and continuing to grow the e-commerce site for the company. Wendy focuses much of her work on implementing new strategies that utilize latest technology, and in her free time enjoys traveling and gardening. Again, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you and I met for the first time when you were at Woodchuck USA. And I always love starting conversations by asking guests to tell the audience a little bit about themselves. So, obviously before Blaine Brothers at Woodchuck, but even go back a little bit further. Tell us about how you even got into marketing, what interests you about it, what your career path has kind of looked like. So tell us a little of your story.
Sure. My first job was at Target headquarters downtown. I was in Target sourcing services. The first half of my career, I was in new product development and design, and headed up some design teams, worked with really creative people to kind of take super creative ideas, designs, inspiration, and sometimes operationalize them and put processes around them. I've owned my own business before, a food business, wore kind of all the hats in there. Did a little freelancing also in between there. At some point, I had decided that I wanted to pivot from new product development and design and into marketing. I was a criminal justice and sociology major, so people really interest me, people's behavior. And in reality, I was working for lots of smaller entrepreneur companies where you wear lots of hats, and ended up doing lots of the marketing and getting super interested in it. Working with technologies, even at Woodchuck USA, like CRMs and HubSpot, always inspired me as well. So kind of pivoted into marketing. I am 100% self-taught technically, never had a business class in my life, but really have been in business my whole career, and marketing the latter half of the career.
Yeah. Well, you probably don't know this about me. You and I are much alike. So I was a Latin American Studies Spanish double major.
Wow.
And, my story is much like yours. Done my own businesses and kind of all over the place. And I love people. I love marketing. And so, here we are having this conversation today about marketing and marketing teams. So, one of the things that I think is really cool about you and your job is that you are responsible for a family of brands. It's, Blaine Brothers has multiple companies that you kind of sit on top of as the marketing head. So tell us a bit about those brands. Tell us about your team size and how you kind of support all of these different brands.
Yeah, so we have an umbrella of companies, the Blaine Brothers family of companies. There's 4 separate business entities. We've done lots of acquisitions over the years so that we can really offer more services along the way. But at the end of the day, for a marketer, we have 3 separate websites. We have all different separate social media channels, newsletters, lists, and so it can be kind of cumbersome, especially when you first join the team. Like, wait, whoa, we wear a lot of hats. We have a team, 7, including myself. It has grown a lot over the years. We've got a full-time graphic designer. We have a full-time events manager. We do over 150 events in a year.
Wow.
We have a marketing specialist, kind of content, driving inbound leads driven. We have a newly established customer experience team, kind of marketing, a little bit of new hire there. And then we also work on our e-commerce site. And so we have some operational folks, from order fulfillment to taking pictures with 60 to 80,000 items on the site. That's kind of never ending. We have a team of interns that come in a couple times a year, help us take pictures. But yeah, so 7 of us total. We divide and conquer, and then we also rely on some agency partners as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing to be charged with, all those different websites, all those different tasks. You're
Yes.
doing e-com, you're doing services. I think it's pretty amazing. You obviously will have resources that are getting pulled in many directions all the time. So I know that presents challenges when you're executing marketing strategies. So do you have like any stories or like times when you kind of felt like those resources were being constrained, and then how you may have overcome them or mitigated some of those challenges?
Yeah, I think things kind of ebb and flow. Our team in particular, the company is over almost 45 years old, but really didn't start thinking about marketing until the last 5 to 10 years. And so when I joined the team, we had a really unique opportunity to kind of build the marketing structure and technologies from the ground up. And so our team has been implementing our CRM over the past couple of years, PIM. Our e-commerce site is, never ending. We're always doing feature enhancements, and so I think at times when those projects are peaking, it can really feel like, wow, we're going a million miles. But one of the things I'm looking forward to is we've just finished a lot of our implementations, and now we can kind of maximize them, right? So
Right.
they took maybe longer than expected, but we feel like we've got all the tools that we, in our toolbox that we really need to market well. So really been working on our tech stack and super excited to streamline all of our hard work and come up with, new processes and really utilize the technology like it should be, instead of kind of working heavily on the implementation.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I've obviously kind of have some ambient knowledge of when you arrived at Blaine Brothers and how you've been able to kind of work with leadership that when you got there was kind of like, hey, we don't do a lot of this,
Yeah.
to get them like in a place kind of mentally and kind of aligned around the fact that like marketing is not just a cost center, but it can be like a growth driver. And so kudos to you for changing that leadership mindset, getting them aligned, like growing that team, getting that tech stack in place. So, from that experience, can you share with the audience who are other kind of marketing leaders that are probably grappling with like getting leadership on the same page, how you've been able to do some of that and how you align your overarching marketing goals and vision with the C-suite?
Yeah, for sure. I do have the luxury that my boss is pretty forward thinking and pretty technology driven. And so I actually joined the company. They had already decided, hey, we're going to do an e-commerce site. And for our industry, we were really on the front lines of that. Um,
Yeah.
and so, in a way, I feel very lucky and fortunate that we get lots of leeway on our team. Our senior leadership, often puts out revenue goals or, some really high level projects. And then we've got a team of peers that we, can kind of come together and say, hey, how are we going to get this done?
Hmm.
What kind of projects do we need to accomplish said financial goals or such projects? And then obviously those trickle down into our team super nicely as well. Um, and so, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty cool that you have a leader who's kind of into technology, interested in kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. I think there's other marketing leaders that find themselves in a place where they actually have to do a lot of that convincing. So I don't know if you've ever had that experience in either former jobs or anything like that, and what maybe the if you can like compare and contrast, like, I was at this place and yeah, that's how it felt, and this is how it's different. But I do think that, for small marketing teams, sometimes one of the hardest things to do is gain alignment
Yeah.
with leadership. And,
Yeah.
you're lucky to have that today.
Definitely. I think it's worth getting buy-in, especially from, your boss. I always call my boss an executive champion. So
Yeah,
him and I are aligned going in to, kind of pitch our ideas or get buy-in from other leaders. We're always super aligned. And I think that has been what's made us super successful. When we're looking to do a large tech implementation that might cost lots of money, I've been way more successful going in there, super aligned with my boss, poking holes in our strategy before we even go on to get buy-in from other key stakeholders or senior
sure.
leadership. So I think that's
Yeah,
one tip that's been super revolutionary for just our team in general and getting buy-in from other
yeah.
key stakeholders and executives.
Yeah, like finding that that executive kind of champion, and
Yes.
actually like giving them that title so that they feel like, I have an important role in this, and like I can be influential. And so yeah,
Yeah,
having that person as like a strongly aligned partner,
exactly.
super great tip.
I think the other thing that we constantly ask ourselves from the marketing team is, are our goals aligned with,
Hmm.
you know, achieving these revenue targets or these really important projects? And if they're not, we often aren't going to do them. And so I think
Yeah,
we do a really good job at stepping back, looking at all of our initiatives from our planning and go, wait, does this really move the needle with the plans of the company? And so I think we're constantly checking ourselves, checking our tech stack. Is this still working for us? Is this doing what we want it to do?
yeah,
And is this going to help us meet our goals? And so, from a team perspective, I think that constantly asking ourselves that question and checking
yeah,
our goals to make sure that they're in alignment. And we do that all year long. We'll get
sure.
to the end of the year and go, wow, did this move the needle in the way we thought? If not, back to the drawing board. We're not giving up.
Yeah,
We need a second strategy here.
yeah. So outside of like leaders, obviously being a key stakeholder,
Mm-hmm.
another big internal stakeholder is sales.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious, like for you, what does that look like in Blaine Brothers, or what are some of your experiences either at Blaine Brothers or at other companies where like getting that sales stakeholder like alignment has been effective, and if
Yeah.
there's any tips you may have there.
Yes, at several of my jobs, maybe even all of them, one of the first things I like to do is immerse myself with the sales team. So
Yeah,
I'm going to their meetings regularly. I'm very aligned with my peer and the sales director. There's a certain amount of incremental sales that we're going to go get, and we kind of can divide and conquer and help each other, whether it's our team helping sign up their customers for e-com and driving revenue like that. Um,
yeah,
we are not afraid on our team to get in the field. We do that a lot. Our team is completely empowered to do field work, ride-alongs with our sales folks.
that's
We
cool.
are dying for our customers' feedback. Everything that we do revolves around those key customers, and that sales team holds the accounts to those key customers. And so we want their feedback. We want to know their pain points. If they have an idea for a feature enhancement, we've done them. It's as simple
Yeah,
as that. We want to listen to our customers. And so, again, our team's empowered to meet with sales regularly. We're partnering, trying, to give them tools in our CRM, so that dashboards, so they can easily see, which leads are being driven, which ones are hot, which ones are falling off. And we're going to
yeah,
partner to kind of keep them on some sort of a journey. And so I think it's a real close partnership. Um, and very
yeah.
grateful for that partnership as well. I don't know that all organizations, sales and
For
marketing
sure.
teams align.
I will tell you for sure that that partnership does not exist
Yes.
in all organizations. And I do think it's on us as marketers to like, extend the olive branch and really recognize that sales teams do have some of those key client relationships, that's where like we as marketers can really unpack kind of where our points of differentiation are and why people actually use us, our services, our products. And so I think, yeah, marketers more and more need to be the ones who are like kind of getting into the sales process
Yeah.
and understanding those customers as best they can.
I think on, a different note, we're newly implemented CRM and we've got some
Hmm.
revenue goals. And so one of the things that we're looking forward to this year is really revenue attribution and using all of our new tools to show what the investment payoff is,
Yeah.
and really have that kind of closed loop analytics. So we're super excited again with our tech stack to have the tools to be able to do that, because when I started, we didn't have the tools that allowed us to do that. And so now it's kind of hit the ground running. We're done with our implementation. Let's make this work.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to take the partnership, even with sales, to a whole new level.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move away from like this kind of, well, this is my experience or my gut tells me these things, and you
Mm-hmm.
get to like where you're actually making decisions based on data and a
Yes,
clear understanding of like where are the good leads coming from? How can we get more of those good leads? Where are we divesting our
exactly.
resources so that we're making sure that we're like helping them hit their goals, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Very
Total
cool.
partnership.
So, the other piece that I think you mentioned is you rely on external partners and vendors. So, I know that selection of those partners is super important,
Yeah.
and you've gone through a number of different partners. So, since you've had some of those experiences, can you share with listeners a little bit about kind of key criteria or factors that help you in choosing external partners or vendors?
Yeah. I, at a minimum, always get 3 quotes. So, just having
Yeah.
options and being able to look at, different quotes and proposals is always helpful. I know everybody says this, but I'm always looking for an agency that's an extension of my team. And I guess what does that mean? We work agilely, and I value that. There are problems that might arise that are unanticipated, that we could never predict. And sometimes, traditional scopes of work don't totally align with that. So being kind of flexible to solve problems as they come up or develop technologies in sort of an agile way, has been important to have
Yeah.
agency buy-in as well. One thing that's important to me, just through these implementations, is always having access to who's my technical resource. Sometimes it doesn't work well for me to go through somebody else to communicate feedback, and so kind of having direct access to developers or depending on what the project is very
Yeah.
important to me. I'm trying to think of what else.
Yeah, well, I love that you mentioned like you're looking for people to be an extension of your team. Like that's definitely one thing here at Augurian that we try to do, of course, is really figure out, where is it that we fit in our partners' kind of skill sets? Where can we really bring thought leadership and help partners like see what's around the next corner? And so I think that that's super important. And then the fact that like trust and just knowing that you have somebody who can take this body of work, whatever it is, like I just know I have a strong partner in this area
Yep.
that when I ask them to do something, it's going to get done because you are obviously, working on a bunch of different things all at one time, and so just knowing that you can trust and have that
Yep.
partner, I think is also something I've heard
Oh,
from a
totally.
lot of people.
And
Yeah.
being able to be transparent with your partners. If
Hmm.
you guys are all thinking something on the other end, by all means, communicate it to us, because it only helps the partnership if we, can kind of know the good, bad, the ugly,
Yeah.
and help make decisions along the way. So being transparent, I think when you're interviewing agencies or different partners, just ensuring, asking who your team's going to be. Is this going to be the
Hmm.
same team? Can we meet the team prior? That's, always smart work as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a little bit of flexibility on both ends um, to meet each other's needs and make it feel like a true partnership has been.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll shift gears a little
Okay.
bit into just like the new year, right? Our first How I Work interview of 2024. We've got AI that everybody's talking about. So like, let's just talk about those two
Yeah.
things. What are you excited about in the new year? Where do you think AI is going, or how are you maybe approaching it?
Yeah.
You have just thoughts about those things?
Well, yes, the coolest thing that I've seen AI do recently is from a design standpoint. So we are mocking up. We're building a new facility. Our truck align
Hmm.
location's building a new facility, and we're under construction, and we're trying to mock up our showroom. And there's things that traditionally could take a long time, like, hey, move this ladder out, erase this garbage, because we're really trying to mock up a clean view. And
Yeah.
some of the things that would take a lot of time or traditionally be really time consuming, we tried, our graphic designer tried out the AI tool and gave some simple prompts like remove the ladder, remove the trash, illuminate the back counter, and it did it. And we
Wow,
were
that's so
floored.
cool.
So that's the coolest new discovery we have, is some of the cumbersome design stuff can easily be done with AI. We did a little bit of experimenting last year with AI, where we'd have our blogger write blogs, and then we'd kind of prompt, AI to do some blogs, look at both of them. I couldn't tell the difference. So
Right.
um, I think the common theme with AI is that just there's always got to be that human touch. We're
Sure.
using it. Um, I know we can write emails with it. You can do all kinds of
Hmm.
things, but always having that human touch is key.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're using, HubSpot's got some new tools, some new AI tools that they were talking about at the conference this year, and imaging. And so we are totally dabbling in it, and having lots of fun with it and learning new things. I don't think it's going away, and I'm excited to see what cool new things we uncover this year about AI. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I feel like, right now at Augurian, we have kind of two different teams. One is really focused on like, where can we just gain efficiency? Where can, like you're saying, like your design process, remove the ladder, and it's like instantaneous,
yes,
right? Like that is just gaining efficiency. And the more efficiency we can gain, especially on kind of the tasks that are a little bit more redundant, and you know then we can take that time savings and put it into strategy and put it into like the higher value things anyway. So I think that's super important. And then the second piece is just really continuing to pay attention to like the early innovators and the early adopters of these technologies, and seeing like, okay, how is this, how, what success or failures are they having, and what can we learn from it.
totally.
And then once we've learned from the early innovators and early adopters, we can bring some of those new things into our clients,
Yep.
kind of that are a little bit further on the adoption curve. So,
Yep.
yeah, 2024 is going to be pretty amazing, I think, for marketers and AI.
Yeah, I'm in the transportation industry too, and I just think that we're going to see a lot from AI in the future. I think in terms of telematics and fleet management, we are
Yeah,
largely doing that with some technology and human touch, and I think adding that AI component on there is something that I'm excited to watch for in 2024 and beyond, especially in our industry. So really excited
yeah.
to see what it can do.
Yeah, it's going to transform every industry. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this has been a great interview. Like,
Yeah.
super fun to chat with you about all these things. So, the one last question that I always ask all of my guests
Okay.
is just kind of who you pay attention to, who you are seeing as thought leaders, or are you reading some books or listening to podcasts, and
Yeah.
what's taken your interest recently?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what we're doing. We've been, implementing our CRM, so kind of CRM meetup groups, and I love
Yeah,
to look at local agencies like yourself. What are they doing? What podcasts are they listening to? Always asking for recommendations. Going to different meetups and such. Folks are having guest speakers. We are again heavy in the e-commerce. One of our favorite events
hmm,
is the Irish Titan e-commerce forum. Every
yeah,
year, our whole team ends up going. And so yeah, I look to our agency partners and friends to drive some of that, and um, just always trying to connect locally, and
that's awesome.
also get recommendations from you guys too. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for taking your time today. I know you're super busy. This has been a great episode of How I Work. It's all we have time for today, but thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure and so happy to be here.